Kutski, thanks for coming on Blast.
Hello mate, how's it going?
Very well. How's tricks with you?
It's all good mate. It's been a bit of a frantic start to the year because I moved out about a month ago, which meant moving studio and moving everything. So yeah, everything's just been kind of like a blur over the last month, but it's all good, settling into the new year well.
When you're saying it's all good, it certainly is. You've had 5,000 downloads of your Energy 2011 set in under 48 hours.
Yeah, that was crazy because I mean obviously I've got my little project website that, you know, every time I get like a live set or if I record a mixtape, you know, I put the mixes up there to download. You expect to get, you know, kind of, you know, a few thousand downloads in the first week, you know, if there's a lot of enthusiasm about it, you know, maybe peak out at around 7,000 once it's been up for, you know, 6 months or so. So I put up my mix from Energy and I knew Energy was a big deal and a lot of people were really interested in it, but 5,000 in 2 days, I was pretty blown away.
You've had a busy few weeks of late playing Glasgow, Manchester and Holland. 2011, it's going from strength to strength for you.
Yeah, it's been a really busy one, yeah. I mean, obviously it's like, you know, January's the stereotype quiet month of the year, but, you know, I still managed to squeeze a couple of gigs in there, like the Radio 1 thing in Sheffield, which was amazing. Since then, I just seem to be dotted around. I played in Bournemouth so far, Manchester, as you said, just all these, like, really big bookings, and, you know, it's like a lot of people kind of complaining and going, oh, you know, the recession's kicking in and people haven't got the money to go out, the parties aren't as good, and everybody seems to have this really negative vibe. But, you know, I've been up and down the country and, you know, kind of around Europe, and I've never seen the scene at a stronger point, to be honest. People get to the weekend and they just think, you know what, I've had enough of this. It's like, you know, I've got 20 quid in my back pocket, it's time to go out, let's go clubbing, you know, and let's have it. So, you know, it's just been a really strong year so far, so, you know, for me and for the scene in general.
As you say, people have 20 quid and they're going, you know what, let's just go out.
Yeah.
And what you just said about all the gigs that you've played and you've been all over Europe, like, some people are quite critical about the hard dance scene, but from your diary, it's quite clear that the scene is very buoyant.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's that type of thing that it's always going to be that scene that, you know, people that aren't into it like to kind of, you know, look down their nose at a little bit. You know, I've been doing stuff on daytime Radio 1 and people have been like, oh, I didn't think I liked hardcore, but I didn't know this was it, or I didn't think I liked hard dance, but, you know, I really like this. And it's, you know, so it's a lot of things, you know, the other scenes and other genres, and, you know, people can kind of look down their nose and go, oh yeah, the scene is gone. House music is like a general word, you know, to cover tech house, minimal house, funky house, and trance, same thing again. You've got tech trance, hard trance, all these different types of music that all sit under that umbrella. If you call hard dance, happy hardcore, gabba, hard house, hard trance, hard style, rave, also, you know, if you count all of them and then you look at how many raves are going on all the time, every weekend, the number of albums being sold, you know, it's clearly hard dance. It's never been bigger, and it's easily as big as house or trance, you know, on a worldwide scale.
I always looked at Glasgow being really, really buoyant for hard dance music. Was it a really big shock to hear that Inside Out is coming to its end?
Yeah, I mean, that was totally out the blue, because, you know, obviously it's just been such a key night for the scene for so long, but I think maybe that's more of a reflection of just clubbing in general, if you think about it, because there's obviously, you know, they used to have everybody from, you know, trance DJs to house DJs, right through to obviously, you know, the hardstyle DJs stuff there, and it's like, you know, to lose such a big night from the scene, kind of, it's a really big loss. I'm not sure, you know, kind of really, you know, reasons why Simon's decided to call it the end of the night. I know, you know, we'd had some nights that were, you know, not so great numbers wise, and obviously there's a lot of expenses that go into the night and you need to keep your head above the water, but we'd had a lot of nights that were really successful as well, so, you know, nothing great lasts forever, unfortunately.
I now have no excuse to go to Glasgow. Normally it was Inside Out at the Arches and it was just let's go mental with maybe 3,000 people, and it was just, as you've just said it was just amazing.
Yeah, it was such a good night. I mean, I remember the first time I ever played there, it's like I'd played there, it must have been about 5 years ago now, and at the time they were only really booking trance DJs, it was just a trance night, and I was over there with a couple of friends like Nelly and Nelson at the time, because we were on the same agency, and the agency had kind of said, yeah, you know, kind of book Kutski on to go after these guys, they'll rock it for you, but, you know, it's kind of, I've seen the crowd going absolutely ballistic for Chris and Robbie there, really going crazy, and I was kind of like, uh-oh, I play really hard this, I'm not sure how well it's going to go down, because these guys seem really into their trance music, but it's like, kind of, by the time the first beat dropped to the set, they were going just as crazy for my music for it as well. Like I said, absolute shame.
When you say about crowds going absolutely ballistic, you're playing closer to home on Saturday. You're playing in React at the Strand in Derry. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, well, it's like I always say, it's Irish and Northern Irish crowds, the Scottish crowds and the Welsh crowds, and they really just do go insane for it. You know, it's kind of like you go to some other, you know, events and it's like, you know, there's a good vibe for the party and stuff, and people are into the music and people are dancing, the dance floor's full and it's really, you know, moving, and it's, you know, even, you know, jumping at times. But, you know, compared to, especially, you know, kind of like up in Derry, 'cause I've played there before, just like that insane kind of erratic, crazy passion for the music. And it's literally, it is what DJs live for. So yeah, really excited for this weekend.
I think I have the answer to the next question already. You're playing in Derry on Saturday. Will you be back anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm possibly the worst DJ for knowing the diary at the moment. I'm living literally hand to mouth, where it's like I phone up my manager on about Wednesday and go, yep, what's coming up this weekend? I know there's a lot of plans for Northern Ireland and Ireland for the rest of the year. I don't really want to give away the games, because I don't know which dates have been confirmed and which ones have been announced yet. But there's definitely some big dates coming up for the rest of the year.
Apart from travelling around Europe and indeed around the world, when you're away from clubs altogether, when you're at home, do you still practice your scratching?
No, it's all about the practice for me. I mean, I don't even really think about it as practice. It's just more like, you know, if I get sent a load of new music, and it's how I find all the random music to play. I just get sent a lot of music from all different styles of music that I really like. And, you know, I could sit down and listen to them, or I could play them on the decks and listen to them. So I always, you know, obviously still been a DJ geek. Opt for the latter on that one.
You just openly admitted you still have the hunger for it away from being out on the road. What would be your advice for a bedroom DJ now who says, Kutski, how can I get on the DJ map? How can I get recognition?
Well, it's kind of the thing that I always try and say that's the most important thing, and this is like, you know, kind of it's the most important thing for DJs, and it's the most important thing for the scene as well, is I would say to people, don't do it to be a DJ to playing out in the clubs. Because if you kind of think, oh well, I'm going to give it 6 months, if I don't start getting any bookings, then I'll just sack it off, I'm not really interested, then you're probably not the right person for the job in the first place, to be honest. So the best thing is, I always say, is, you know, kind of, if you're doing it because you just love the music so much and you really want to play it, and you're doing it just to, you know, even if you only ever play in your 4-bedroom walls, you've got that type of passion, that's the type of passion and enthusiasm that it takes to take you to the club. There's almost like natural selection with it. So once you've kind of got the right attitude behind it and you're in it for the right reasons, kind of the world's your oyster these days. I mean, the way that I got my breaks was recording mixtapes and then copying the tapes and phoning phone numbers off the back of flyers to get addresses to send them tapes to. And this is obviously going back quite a while. These days you've got the internet and Facebook and, you know, kind of SoundCloud and all these other crazy ways to get your music out to as many people. So if you're a DJ kind of, you know, and you're focused about the DJing, I would say spend a lot of time working on your mixes, get your mixes on the internet and get as many people as you can to hear them. And if you're good enough and you work at it hard enough, you will get the breaks and the opportunities. But nothing ever happens overnight. I mean, I was a bedroom DJ with decks at home for 5 years before I ever played my first little bar out.
When you're talking about how you played for 5 years in your house before anything really happened, you're now sandwiched between two of the biggest DJs in the world on BBC Radio 1, where you're playing tonight with Judge Jules and Pete Tong. How did it come about that you got the break on Radio 1?
It was a mad one. So obviously I've always had a very diverse style, and, you know, kind of playing all the rave music, so, you know, all different types of hard dance, all different types of hardcore, all mashed up in one set. And, you know, a lot of people looked down their nose about that, and they were kind of like saying, well, you should really pick one style and stick with it. So I just always stuck to my guns, though. I just thought, well, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and if it works out, it works out. And then just coincidentally, Radio 1 were looking for a new show about 5 years ago now, I think it was, called In New DJs We Trust. And what they wanted to do was to get some exciting new DJs on the scene, playing exciting new music that wasn't represented on the station, and they wanted a DJ that could play all of these types of harder dance music that went covered on the show. So I was really the only guy that could do it. So they'd kind of phoned me up out the blue after doing the research, and then just said, do you want to come down and record a pilot? You know, kind of obviously you can't turn down that opportunity. So I recorded the pilot. I got a phone call out of the blue about 2 weeks later saying the management had listened to the pilot, we love it, and we want you on the show. They said that they wanted to put me on, you know, kind of after Judge Jules. You know, I don't put myself in any kind of class of being near as legendary as, you know, Pete Tong or Judge Jules. So, you know, to be sat in the office and be told, right, we're going to give you your own show and you're going to be on at that time. Years and years later, I still haven't managed to get my head around it properly.
You're on tonight in a matter of hours. I will let you run on. Any sort of sneak peeks of what's on the programme tonight?
Tonight we're going to be running down, obviously, it was the Hard Dance Awards last weekend, which was, you know, kind of, it's a big thing for the scene. And I was down there with my producer from the show, and we kind of, you know, took the microphones down there. We interviewed some people. We interviewed the winners. We caught up with some clubbers, you know, to see what they had to say. And then basically I've got a little feature mix tonight, which is going to be a rundown of who's won what and a track from each one of the winners. And then, you know, there's obviously the usual usual. Hard dance, hardcore, got a bit of gabber in there, so yeah, just all boxes ticked as always.
Sounds awesome, and we've got a wee special mix that you gave us earlier that we're going to bang out on the show shortly. It's been a pleasure as always talking to you.
Excellent, mate.